Hello and welcome back to our series on applying machine learning to a real-world data set. Our goal is to prepare this data set to feed into some machine learning algorithms. In this episode, we're preparing our string data for some mathematics. Let's jump right into it. First, I'll start a new section to deal with this. Let me just clear that old result set out. And B, markup, I'll call this string columns. Now I need to turn these strings into numbers, and that basically depends on whether they represent something continuous or not. For example, I have issue status. That could be to do, it could be done, it could be selected for development. Basically, though, I think it represents something that I could think of as being on a continuum of doneness. To do means it isn't even started yet. It's 0% completed, and done is 100% completed. And in the middle there, we have selected for development, which happens before it's in progress. So let's assign these numeric values, and I'll use a map to do that. I'll call it issue status map, and we'll define it like this. We'll say anything that is to do is 0% completed. Anything that's selected for development is 33% completed, 33.333, and that should be a colon. There we go. And then after selected for development, we have in progress. And we can call that 66.667% completed. And then finally we have done, which is 100% completed. So that's our basic map. And now to apply these to our issue status, we'll be replacing issue status, the text values, with these. So go to my df issues issue status. And from here, I will use the replace method. So, and I'll point that at our issue status map. I'll do it in place. And when we're all done with that, let's take a look at the values we get. And this one, I won't look at the whole df issues data frame. I will just look at that column. All right, we get our index, which is the issue key, and we see our issue statuses are now all numeric instead of being text values. That is exactly what we want to see. So I'm going to go up here and just clear that result set. And now we can deal with the other columns. And now we have some other strings that just aren't continuous. They are things like names of issue creators or issue reporters, things like that. And for those guys, we get to talk about one-hot encoding. And the way it works is this. So each person in each one of those roles represents a distinct state. That person is either the issue creator in this observation, or this row, or they are not the issue creator in this row. And what we should really do is expand our columns from having just one column with a string value that says who the issue creator was, to having a column for each possible issue creator, and then setting them all to false except for that one column where the issue creator / person combination is correct for that row. And that's all called one-hot encoding. And you're right if you're thinking that that might be more columns than our memory will be happy with. But today, in this example, memory won't be a problem for us because we just don't have that many people in our Jira system. For this, I think I will create a new section of code here. Below this, let me just run all this to clear that old result set. There we go. So now one-hot encoding, and we can do this very easily because Pandas provides a getDummies function, and I'll split these into some new data frames. So, and then we'll merge them all back together later. So project names, that's the first one we can do, and we do have different projects here. getDummies, and I will go from dfissues.log, and from this I will slice out all the project names. And then I will do the same thing for the other columns in which I am interested. I'll just change the names of everything. So this was issue creators. I'm going to just pluralize all of these. And this will be issue reporters. Over here it's the same, but here we want to replace this with issue creator, and this one with issue reporter. And when we've done all this, we do have the possibility that some of these columns will end up with the exact same names. And like issue creator, was it Alex? Well, he might also be the reporter on a different issue. He might be among the reporters. So we could have two columns named Alex, and we wouldn't have a way to tell between them. To fix that, we can use another method that will apply to our data frames, and it is called the add prefix method, which just adds a string on the front. And I'll start off with one of them here. df project names, and what I'll do is go df project names dot add prefix. And my prefix for project names will be is project name underscore. I'll add that little string in the front of every column name in this data frame. Copy, paste, paste. I'll do the same thing for issue creators and issue reporters, but I'll change their prefixes here to is issue creator or is issue reporter. Now that we have all these three data frames created, I'd like to join them all together so that I can join them back to our original df issues data frame. And I'm just going to call this all df One-Hot. And it will just be a grouping of all of these things. I'll have 3 data sets to do, so I'll do it in a couple groups here. So df project names dot join to our df issue creators. And then we also need to specify the join type, and this will be an inner join. So that's how equals inner. And then we'll take this whole set that came through, and we will join that again to another data frame, and that is our df issue reporters data frame. We also need to specify the join type, which is also inner. And once we're done with that, we close it off, and we should be fairly well set there. One thing about df One-Hot now, though, is it needs an index that will join it to our df issues data frame, and that index should match the one in df issues, and that's issue key, and we can set that very easily. So df One-Hot dot index dot name equals issue key. With that done, we're all ready to join it back up to df issues, and I'll do this df issues equals df issues dot join df One-Hot. How? Well, this will be an inner join again. And now that we have all this data loaded into df issues, we can drop those 3 original columns that we had. We have them represented with these dummy columns, these One-Hot encoded columns. So from the df issues, I will drop out the columns that we originally used here, and that's a list of columns. So that will be project name and issue creator and issue reporter. Close that. And we do need to tell it that these are columns, not rows, so I better give it an axis, which is 1 for columns, and I do want to do it in place. And with that all done, we should be able to check out df issues here and see our new columns in place. And we get an error, so let's take a look at where that error happened. It looks like it happened here, df project names, pd get dummies, df issues.lock, colon, comma. We need to put and a comma there. Those will error out too if we don't fix that. So let's go back up here and comma, comma, comma. Okay, let's try it again. Run all. There we go. Let's check our new columns. Scroll across here, we have is issue creator Oscar, is issue creator Penny. Those are good. Is issue reporter. And we must be missing, and must be included in this little section here, is project name. Now this sometimes happens when we are dealing with larger or longer data sets, and we can see that data. Let's go to CSV. And I will just call this what? Test or check1.csv. So we'll print it out this way into a file, and then we can open the file and take a look at it. Let's go run all. And let's go to our files here and check out it's on our desktop, it's Python, there's check1.csv. Now that we've printed it out, we can see all the data, and there is project name architecture, is project name dev, and so forth. We have all the data that we expected to have, which is very nice. Let me close that. Don't bother saving it. And that's enough for this episode. Our strings are all ready to use in machine learning. In the next episode, we'll turn our attention to the date values in our dataset. Please click like and subscribe if you'd like to stay up to date on our latest videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.